It was a rainy morning, and Mina walked quickly under her small umbrella. Her shoes were already a little wet, but she didn't complain. She had agreed to take her friend Nira's shift at the coffee shop today. Nira had a bad cold and begged Mina for help last night. Mina didn't like saying no to anyone, so she said yes, even though it was her only free morning this week. The bell above the door jingled as Mina entered the small coffee shop. The smell of roasted beans and baked goods warmed the air. The place was cozy, with wooden tables and warm lights. A few customers sat quietly with their laptops or books. "Hey, Mina," called Sam, the manager, from behind the counter. "Thanks for coming in. It's a bit slow, so it should be an easy shift." Mina nodded and put on the brown apron. She tied her long black hair into a bun and got to work. She cleaned the counter, refilled the napkins, and smiled at each customer who came in. An hour passed, and the shop stayed quiet. Then he walked in. He wore a long black coat, dripping with rain, and his steps were calm but firm. His eyes were sharp, like someone used to being in control. He didn't look at anyone as he walked to the corner table. He sat down, opened a silver tablet, and started reading something that made his face stay cold and serious. Mina noticed him, but didn't stare. She had never seen him before, and he didn't look like a local, maybe a businessman. She took a deep breath and walked over. "Good morning, sir," she said kindly. "What can I get for you?" He looked up slowly. His eyes were gray, very gray, almost silver. "Just a black coffee, no sugar," he said, coming right up. Mina walked back to the counter, made the coffee carefully, and placed it on a small tray. She carried it to his table, but then her foot caught the edge of a chair. The tray slipped. Time slowed down, the cup flipped, and hot coffee spilled all over the man's coat and onto the floor. Mina gasped. "Oh no, I'm so sorry." She grabbed napkins from the table and tried to clean his coat. The man didn't move. He just stared at her with those same unreadable eyes. His expression didn't change. "I'm sorry," she repeated, her hands shaking a little. "I'll get you another one." "Please wait." "No need," he said quietly. His voice was calm but strong. Mina looked up. "Let me at least clean." He raised a hand. "Accidents happen." She stood awkwardly, not sure what to do. He looked at her for a long second. "What's your name?" he asked. She blinked. "Mina." He nodded once. "Thank you, Mina." Then he picked up his tablet and stood up. Without saying another word, he left the shop, his coat still dripping with coffee. The rest of Mina's shift went by slowly. She couldn't stop thinking about the man. He hadn't gotten angry. He hadn't even flinched. But something about his eyes made her feel like he had seen straight through her. When her shift ended, she walked home through the light rain. That night, she told Nira about the strange man. "You spilled coffee on a customer?" Nira gasped. "I didn't mean to." "And he wasn't mad. Just strange." "What did he look like?" "Tall, gray eyes. Quiet, were all black." Nira's eyes widened. "Wait a second. That sounds like Jorn Velen." "Who?" Nira turned her phone toward Mina and typed a name. A news article popped up. Jorn Velen, CEO of Valentech, the quiet mind behind Earth's most mysterious tech company. Mina stared at the photo. "It was him. That's him," she said. "But he's a CEO?" "Not just a CEO. People say he's a genius. His company builds things nobody understands. Some say he's working on alien tech or stuff from space." Mina laughed nervously. "He didn't look like a space guy. He just looked serious." Nira raised her eyebrows. "Still, Mina, if that really was Jorn Velen, then you just spilled coffee on one of the most powerful men in the world." The next morning, Mina returned to the shop for her regular shift. She hoped everything would be normal. But then, around the same time as yesterday, the bell jingled again. He was back. Jorn Velen walked in with the same calm steps and the same unreadable eyes. His coat was clean. He walked to the same table and sat down. Mina's heart skipped. She quickly went to the counter. Sam looked at her. "You okay?" "That's him," she whispered. "Him who?" "The man I spilled coffee on yesterday," Sam peeked. "Oh, well, be careful this time." Mina nodded, took a breath, and walked to his table. "Good morning," she said carefully. He looked up. "Mina, you remembered." He gave the tiniest nod. "Tea today. Any sugar?" "No." She left and brought the tea a minute later, placing it slowly and safely on the table. This time nothing spilled. "Thank you," he said softly. Mina nodded. "You're welcome." Then she walked away, her hand still shaking a little. She had no idea that her simple kindness and one small accident had already changed the course of her future. And Jorn Velen, though silent, watched her with thoughtful eyes. He had seen something in her, something rare, something the universe might soon need. Mina tried not to look, but her eyes kept drifting toward the corner table. Jorn Velen was sitting there, just like yesterday. Calm, quiet, sipping his tea slowly, his silver tablet resting on the table. Other customers came and went, but he stayed. Minutes turned to hours. He barely moved, only glancing at the screen in front of him from time to time. Mina felt his presence more than she saw him. It was like his silence filled the whole shop. Sam, the manager, noticed too. "He's been sitting there for 2 hours now," Sam whispered. "Doesn't talk. Doesn't even blink much." "I think he likes you," Mina blushed. "He's probably just working." "Or watching," Sam joked, walking away to restock the muffins. Mina didn't laugh. There was something about Jorn that didn't feel like a normal customer. It wasn't just his expensive coat or the way he spoke. It was his eyes, cold, silent, but not unkind, as if they carried a weight too heavy for this world. She finally gathered the courage to walk over. "Would you like anything else?" she asked softly. He looked up at her. "No, thank you." She nodded. "All right." But before she turned away, he spoke again. "Have you ever felt like you were meant for something different?" Mina blinked. "Sorry?" He leaned back, still holding his tea. "Like you were walking through your days doing ordinary things, but deep down, you knew you were meant to see more." Mina hesitated. "Maybe, I guess. Sometimes I wonder what else is out there." "Good," he said. She tilted her head. "Good?" Jorn smiled very slightly. "You're aware." Then he went quiet again. Mina stood there, unsure what he meant. But before she could ask more, the bell above the door rang. 2 people entered, dressed in dark coats, walking straight toward Jorn's table. They didn't look like customers. Jorn stood up as they arrived. One of them whispered something to him. Jorn nodded. Then, as he turned to leave, he looked at Mina one last time. "We'll talk again soon." He left with the 2 strangers, disappearing into the rain once more. That night, Mina couldn't sleep. His words repeated in her mind. "You're aware. Meant to see more." She didn't know what he meant, but she felt something in her chest, like a small light had been switched on. She opened her laptop and typed his name, Jorn Velen. Were hundreds of articles. Some called him a genius inventor. Others claimed his company, Velintech, was building machines that could change the world. One article called him the man from the future. Another claimed Velintech had discovered energy sources not from Earth. Most people laughed at those stories, but Mina wasn't laughing now. She scrolled through pictures of the Velintech building, tall, silver, and quiet, built far from the main city. No tours, no public meetings. Just silence. The next day at the coffee shop, Mina tried to act normal, but she kept looking at the door, expecting him to come again. He didn't single quotes to 2 days passed, then 3 no jor n . She began to feel silly. Maybe he had just been a strange man with a powerful job. Maybe she had imagined the mystery around him. On the 4th day, as her shift was ending, Sam walked over with a small envelope in his hand. "This came for you," he said. Mina took it. Her name was written on the front in neat black letters. Inside was a card with only one line. "You asked what else is out there. Come and see for yourself." Below it was an address: Valintech HQ, and a time: tomorrow, 2 p.m. Mina stood in front of the Valintech building the next day. Heart pounding. It looked even more massive in person. No windows. Just smooth silver walls that reached into the sky. 2 guards stood at the entrance. When she walked closer, one of them scanned her card and nodded silently, opening the door for her. Inside, the air was cool and still. A woman with short dark hair met her at the entrance. "Mina, yes, this way please." Mina followed the woman through long halls and quiet elevators until they reached a large room with curved glass walls. At the center stood Jorn, looking out at a glowing screen filled with stars. He turned as she entered. "You came?" Mina nodded, her voice soft. "What is this place?" "This is just the surface," Jorn said. "My work, my mission, is much bigger." He walked closer, his voice calm. "I wasn't born here, Mina." Her eyes widened. "You mean not on Earth?" He nodded. "I came here many years ago, sent to observe, learn, protect." "Protect from what?" "From what's coming," he said. "Earth is not ready, but it must be. There are things out there, dangerous things that will not wait. I've searched for someone here who can help. Someone different, someone open." Mina was quiet. "You think that's me?" she asked. "Yes." She took a shaky breath. "I'm just a girl who spilled coffee on you." He actually smiled. "And you didn't run. You stayed. You asked questions. You felt something. That matters." Mina looked at the star map behind him. "So, what happens now?" "That's up to you," Jorn said. "I won't force you. But if you want to know more about this world, about others, you can. The door is open." Mina stood in silence. Her heart was loud in her chest. A normal day, a simple shift, had brought her to this moment, and somehow she wasn't afraid. Mina stood in the strange room, surrounded by curved glass walls and soft glowing lights. The stars on the screen behind Jorn looked real, as if she could reach out and touch them. She still couldn't believe she was here, just a few days ago. She had taken a shift at a small coffee shop. Now she was standing in a high-tech building, talking to someone who claimed he wasn't even from Earth. Jorn's voice pulled her back from her thoughts. "I want to show you something," he said. Gently, he walked toward a large metal door on the side of the room. As he moved, the door opened with a quiet hiss. Inside was a smaller chamber, dark at first, then lit up with a soft blue glow. Mina followed, her hands slightly shaking. The room was filled with floating screens, clear panels, and strange symbols she couldn't understand. At the center of it all stood a round platform with a glass top. "This is the heart of my work," Jorn said. "What you're looking at isn't just technology, it's a bridge." "A bridge?" Mina asked. "To where?" "To knowledge," Jorn answered, "and to the stars." He walked over to the platform and placed his hand on a flat surface. The lights brightened, and a new image appeared above the glass Earth, spinning slowly in space. "Our planet," Mina whispered. Jorn nodded. "Your home. And also the center of growing interest across the galaxy." Mina turned to him. "You said something is coming. What do you mean?" Jorn stepped back from the platform and looked at her seriously. "There are species in space that don't wish to understand humans. They don't see your kindness or potential. They only see a world full of resources, a quiet world, easy to take." Mina's chest tightened. "Is that why you're here? To stop them?" "Yes," he said, "but I cannot do it alone. My team is small. We hide our work behind the company. We need someone who understands humans deeply. Someone who can speak for them, guide them, and help prepare them." "Why me?" She asked. Jorn walked slowly around the platform as he spoke. When the coffee spilled, it wasn't just hot liquid. It activated a device I was carrying. You didn't know it, but it touched your skin. It scanned you, and what it found surprised me. What did it find? She asked nervously. That your mind is calm in chaos. That your thoughts are open, and your heart has no fear of the unknown. Mina couldn't speak. She looked down at her hands, trying to make sense of his words. I'm just a regular girl, she said quietly. I go to school, I help my friends, I make coffee. Jorn stepped in front of her. You are more than that now. If you want to be. They returned to the main room. Jorn offered her a seat and brought over a small glass of clear blue liquid. It helps with focus, he explained. Safe to drink. Mina took a small sip. It tasted like cool mint and soft berries. Her mind felt lighter within seconds. I want to offer you something, Jorn said. A chance to be part of this mission, to learn, to prepare. I won't lie, it will not be easy. You'll see things that others never will. But if you choose this path, you'll help protect your world. Mina looked at him for a long time. Then she gave a small smile. I don't know everything. I'm not trained, but I want to understand. I want to help. Jorn's eyes lit up slightly. That's all I needed to hear. The next day, Mina returned to Valintech. This time, she was guided deeper into the facility. The rooms became stranger walls pulsing with light, doors opening at her approach, machines that didn't look like they belonged on Earth. She met 3 other people. One was a tall woman named Lyra, who spoke many languages and had a strange scar across her cheek. The second was a man called Bren, quiet and serious, always watching with deep-set eyes. The third was an older man named Dr. Halen, a scientist who smiled often and spoke kindly to her. They're part of my team, Jorn explained. Not all human. Some are hybrids. Some were once like you. Mina shook hands with each of them. None treated her like a child. They welcomed her like someone important. Her training began that same day. The training was not like anything she expected. She didn't lift weights or run through obstacle courses. Instead, she sat in a small room with moving lights, listening to soft sounds that changed her thoughts. She practiced calming her mind, staying focused, and sensing patterns and strange symbols. It's mental strength we need, Jorn said. Not physical. Every evening, Jorn would speak to her, answering her questions, teaching her about other worlds, and warning her about those who might come. He never pushed her too far. He let her grow at her own pace. Days passed. She began understanding some of the alien patterns. She could sense energy changes in the room before a machine turned on. Her mind became clearer, sharper. She felt herself changing, but with that change came a new danger. Late one night, Mina was resting in her assigned room at Valintech when a soft knock came at the door. It was Dr. Halen. Mina, he said. In a hushed tone, you need to come with me. There's been a breach. A what? A signal was set out. Someone inside the team has warned the enemy. Her blood ran cold. They walked quickly through dim halls. Sirens were not blaring. Everything was quiet, but she felt the tension in the air. Jorn was already in the control room, standing still, eyes fixed on the screen. The signal was short, he said when she entered, but strong enough. Someone on the inside is working against us. Mina's heart pounded. Who? She asked. Jorn turned to her. We don't know yet. The control room felt colder than usual. Mina stood beside Jorn, her eyes fixed on the large screen. Strange lines moved across it, waves of data and flashing alerts. But she didn't understand them. What she did understand was Jorn's expression. He was tense. Calm, but tense. Someone from inside sent that signal? She asked. Yes, Jorn said quietly. Just one short message, but that's enough. It means they know we're watching. Dr. Halen walked in with Lyra and Bren close behind. All three looked serious. "We've locked all access points," said Halen. "No one is leaving the building until we know who did it." Jorn nodded. "Good. This betrayal may be the first sign of a bigger attack." Mina felt a chill in her spine. Betrayal. Attack. This was no longer just training. It was real. Later that evening, Jorn called a private meeting with Mina and his team. They sat in a small room with walls made of silver panels. No cameras, no signals. Only quiet. "We have enemies watching Earth," Jorn began. "They don't want peace. They want to invade quietly. Take control without a fight. They've done it to other planets. Earth is next." He looked around the table. The Lintech was created as a shield. "We're not just building machines, we're building defenses." Lyra spoke next. "If someone here is working with the enemy, they've already weakened that shield." Bren crossed his arms. "We need to find the traitor, fast." Mina looked down, thinking hard. "Why now?" she asked. "Why would they send the signal now, right after I joined?" Jorn gave her a thoughtful glance. "That's a good question," he said. Halen nodded. "Maybe they fear what you might become." Mina blinked. "Me? But I'm not special. I'm still learning." "You're already different," said Jorn. "You can connect with things others can't. You sense energy shifts. And your mind is stronger than most. That makes you a threat to them." She didn't know what to say. Over the next 2 days, the base stayed locked down. Security bots scanned every hallway. Doors required special codes and handprints. Jorn's team worked day and night to scan messages, check machines, and watch everyone closely. Mina stayed mostly in her room, but she joined training sessions with Dr. Halen in the evenings. They focused on mental focus and energy tracking. On the third night, something strange happened. Mina was sitting in the meditation room, her eyes closed, breathing slowly. She was focusing on the energy in the room like Jorn had taught her. But this time, she felt something different. A dark spot, like a cold breeze in her thoughts. Her eyes opened quickly. "Something's wrong," she whispered. She got up and followed the feeling. She moved through the hallways, her feet quiet. She didn't know exactly where she was going, but her body moved on its own, like it was being guided. She stopped outside one of the labs. Inside, Bren was typing on a tablet, fast and nervous. The room was dim. The screen in front of him showed strange symbols and a blinking red light. Mina watched from the shadows. Suddenly, Bren looked up and saw her. His eyes widened. "Mina," he said, trying to sound calm. "What are you doing here?" She stepped forward slowly. "I could ask you the same thing." "I'm just checking the systems," he replied, but his voice was tight. His hands were still behind his back. Mina's eyes narrowed. "You sent the signal, didn't you?" Silence. Then Bren dropped the tablet and ran. Mina shouted, "Security!" 2 doors opened, and metal bots rolled in, their lights flashing. They chased after Bren, cornering him in the hallway. By the time Jorn and Lyra arrived, Bren had been caught. They sat Bren in the same silver-walled room where they held private meetings. His hands were locked in smooth metal cuffs that glowed faintly. Jorn stood in front of him, silent for a long time. Finally he asked, "Why?" Bren looked tired. "Because we don't belong here. Earth isn't ready, and you're making it a target." "You gave the enemy our location," Jorn said, his voice steady. "You risked everything." "They were coming anyway," Bren snapped. "At least now we have a chance to deal." Mina watched from the side, her heart heavy. She had trusted Bren. He had never been friendly, but he had always seemed loyal. Now she saw him clearly, a man who had lost hope in the mission. Jorn sighed. "Take him to the lower chamber. We'll deal with him later." The guards took Bren away. Later, Mina and Jorn stood outside, on a quiet balcony at the top of the building. The stars above were bright. No city lights, no noise. Just the sky, You did well, Jorn said softly. I only followed a feeling, she replied. I didn't know for sure, but you trusted it. That's important. Mina looked up. Now that the enemy knows where we are, what happens next? Jorn didn't speak for a while. Then he said, they will come. Maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And when they do, we must be ready. Mina nodded slowly. I want to help, she said. You already are. He turned to her. There's one more thing, Jorn added. Your mother, Mina blinked. What about her? She once worked on a secret Earth-based science team that found alien signals. She helped translate them. Then she disappeared from records. Mina felt a shock in her chest. I never knew that. She may have hidden something important, something only you can unlock. Mina looked up at him, eyes wide. Where do we start? Jorn looked toward the stars. We start with her last project, tomorrow. The next morning, Mina stood quietly in front of a sealed door deep underground inside the Lintech. Jorn stood beside her. The silver walls around them were smooth and cold. A small screen blinked on the wall beside the door, waiting for a code. This room has been locked for years, Jorn said softly. It belonged to your mother when she worked with the Earth Science team. Only someone with matching DNA can open it. Mina looked at the screen, then slowly placed her hand on the sensor. A soft beep sounded. The door hissed open. Behind it was a small, clean lab. Dust floated in the air, but the machines were still running. The walls were filled with notes, sketches, and glowing diagrams. One large screen showed a symbol that kept spinning slowly, a circle inside a star, surrounded by strange alien letters. Mina stepped in, feeling like she was walking into a memory. Her mother had worked here, in this very room, on this very project. Jorn watched her carefully. Take your time. Look around. Trust what you feel. Mina moved from one table to another, touching the edges of books and tools. Then her eyes stopped on a small silver box sitting quietly on a shelf. She reached for it and opened the lid. Inside was a smooth, round stone with lines of blue light running through it. She didn't know why, but her fingers knew what to do. She picked it up and closed her eyes. Suddenly, her mind filled with images. Stars, symbols. Her mother's voice. Mina, if you are hearing this, it means the time has come. Mina's breath caught. This stone is a memory crystal. It holds information the world isn't ready for. But you are, you always were. I saw it in you when you were just a child. You felt things others couldn't. The voice paused for a second, then continued. The signal we discovered wasn't just a warning, it was a map. A path to a hidden object, something powerful. Something left behind by an older race. I couldn't finish the mission, but maybe you can. The voice faded. Mina opened her eyes. She was still in the room, but everything felt different now. Jorn stepped forward. You heard her, Mina nodded. She left something. Something important. A hidden object. A relic, Jorn said. I've seen signs of it in the galaxy's records. It's called the Core of Light, a device that can either protect or destroy, depending on who holds it. Mina placed the crystal back in the box. I want to find it, she said. For her. For Earth. Jorn gave a small nod. Then we begin the search. The next few days were filled with work. Mina spent hours studying maps, alien scripts, and space signals with Dr. Halen. Lyra trained her in mind-link exercises to improve her focus. Jorn gave her access to secure files, things no normal human had ever seen. Each clue pointed to the same place, a location far outside Earth's orbit, near a broken space gate floating in silence. The Lintech had a ship ready. They called it the Orion Shade. It wasn't large, but it was fast and cloaked. Built with a mix of Earth tech and alien design, it could cross vast space in hours. Jorn stood with Mina on the launch deck the night before departure. You don't have to do this, he told her gently. You've already helped more than. You know, Mina looked up at the stars. If my mother believed I could finish this, then I have to try. Jorn smiled, just a little. Then I'll go with you, you will? She asked, surprised. This mission is too important. And, besides, he added, I promised your mother I'd protect you. A long time ago. Mina stared at him. You knew her? Jorn looked toward the stars. She saved my life once. She believed in peace between worlds, just like you. The next morning, the Orion shade lifted off. Mina, Jorn, Lyra, and a small pilot team were on board. Earth grew smaller in the window behind them, and the stars stretched ahead like glowing rivers. As the ship moved through space, Mina sat quietly in the observation deck. Jorn joined her. Do you think the core of light is real? She asked. Yes, Jorn said. And I believe you're the one meant to find it. Mina nodded slowly. I don't know what I'll do if we find it, she admitted. You'll know when the time comes, Jorn said, because you'll feel it. Just like you felt Bren's betrayal. Just like you felt your mother's message. Silence filled the room for a moment. Then Lyra's voice came over the speaker. Approaching. The gate ruins. The Orion shade slowed as it reached the ancient structure. The gate looked like a broken circle, floating in space like a sleeping giant. Pieces of it drifted nearby. Lights flickered on its surface, though it hadn't worked for years. Jorn stood beside Mina, studying the readings. There, he said, pointing to a small signal coming from behind the wreckage. That's it, the relic signal. They suited up and prepared a small shuttle to travel closer. Mina, Jorn, and Lyra boarded it, flying carefully through the floating metal pieces. As they reached the far side of the broken gate, they saw it, a glowing sphere, hidden in a small cave built into an asteroid. The core of light. It pulsed with soft energy, as if it were breathing. Mina stepped forward, heart pounding. Jorn stopped her gently. Only you can touch it. She looked at him, then took a deep breath and walked toward it. Her hand reached out slowly. The moment her fingers touched the surface, the sphere glowed brighter. Light wrapped around her arm, then around her body, lifting her slightly off the ground. Mina didn't scream. She felt warmth. Memories. Peace. And power. Then, a warning, darkness, an approaching force. She saw ships, shadows, and a symbol burned into her mind, an enemy fleet moving toward Earth. She dropped gently to the ground. Jor and rushed to her side. Are you all right? Mina opened her eyes. They're coming. Who? The invaders, she whispered. Soon. Jorn helped her up. We have to get back, she said firmly. Earth needs to be ready. The journey back to Earth felt longer than the trip out. Mina sat quietly inside the Orion shade, her eyes on the stars outside the window. The memory of the glowing core of light was still fresh in her mind. She could still feel its warmth on her skin. But the warning it gave her was clearer than anything else. The enemy was coming. They were not just curious explorers or visitors. They were conquerors. And now they knew Earth had the core. Jorn stood beside her in the control room. We'll reach Earth in 2 hours. I've already sent a silent alert to Valintech. Mina nodded. We have to prepare. They won't wait. He watched her for a moment. You're changing. She looked at him. How? You're stronger now. Clearer. The core has awakened something in you. Mina took a deep breath. Then I hope it's enough. When they arrived back at Valintech, the base was already in high alert. Lights blinked. Drones moved across the walls. The team had gathered in the command hall. Dr. Halen, Lyra, and the others stood waiting for Mina and Jorn. Any updates? Jorn asked. Lyra spoke first. Long-range sensors have picked up movement. A fleet of unknown ships. They're heading straight for Earth. How long until they arrive? Mina asked. Less than 12 hours. Everyone went silent. Mina stepped forward. We can't fight them with weapons alone. The core showed me something. It's not just a tool, it's a shield. A powerful one. But it needs to connect with something, or someone. Dr. Halen tilted his head. Do you think it meant you? Yes, Mina said. But I don't know how it works. I don't even understand how it connected to me. Jorn walked over to a nearby table and activated a display. Mina, he said, you're the key. But if we force the connection too quickly, your body and mind could break under the pressure. I'm not afraid, she said firmly. He paused. You should be. It's not easy to control energy from beyond our galaxy. She took a step forward. We don't have time. If this is our only chance to stop them, then I'll do it. The room stayed silent for a moment. Then Jorn nodded slowly. All right. We begin the link now. They moved to the energy chamber, a quiet, round room beneath the base. The core of light sat in the center, floating gently in a protective field. Blue light pulsed softly around it, like a heartbeat. Mina stood at the edge, her heart racing. Jorn placed a small silver band around her wrist. This will help guide the connection, he said. Dr. Halen checked her pulse and ran a scan. She's steady. Mina looked at the core and stepped forward. As she reached out, light stretched from the sphere, wrapping around her fingers. It moved up her arm like soft threads, not painful, but heavy with energy. Then her feet lifted slightly off the ground. Everyone watched silently. Mina's eyes closed. Inside her mind, everything changed. She was standing in a vast space. No floor, no sky, just light and stars. She saw moments from the past. Battles, voices, her mother's face, Jorn's memories. Pieces of the galaxy woven together like a puzzle. Then she saw Earth. And ships approaching like black arrows. She raised her hand in the vision. A wall of light formed in front of Earth. The enemy ships crashed against it, but could not pass. When she opened her eyes, she was back in the room, breathing hard, still glowing. But alive. I saw it, she said. The shield, I can do it. Jorn stepped forward. Then we prepare the sky. Within hours, the world was not the same. Valintech used its hidden systems to activate towers around Earth, silent satellites and invisible tech that had been placed over years of secret work. Each one now responded to Mina's presence. She stood at the center of the main tower, her hands on two silver panels. Her mind was linked to the network, guiding the core's energy to each point. From space, a golden shield began to rise around the planet. Just in time, because the enemy had arrived. Dark ships, long, sharp, and covered in shadows, appeared near Earth's orbit. They didn't send a message. They didn't ask to land. They fired. Bright red beams shot toward the planet, but the shield caught them all. Inside Valintech, lights flashed as the defense grid held steady. Everyone watched as the shield shimmered like glass and pushed the enemy fire away. They're testing us, Jorn said. But they'll send more soon. Mina's voice was calm. Let them come. Hours passed. The enemy sent more ships. Dozens, then hundreds. They all tried to break through. But Mina, standing in the control tower, kept the shield alive. Her body trembled with the pressure. Her head pounded. But she held on. Dr. Halen checked her levels every 10 minutes. She can't hold this forever. She doesn't need to, Jorn replied. Just long enough to force them back. Suddenly, the shield pulsed brighter. The enemy ships began to break formation, one by one. They vanished into the stars. They're leaving, Lyra said. They're retreating. Cheers filled the control room, but Mina didn't hear them. She had collapsed. She woke up in the medical wing, surrounded by soft lights. Jorn sat beside her bed. You did it, he said. Mina smiled weakly. Are they gone? For now, he replied. But they'll remember Earth, and next time they may not run. Mina sat up slowly. Then we need to be ready, Jorn nodded. And we will be, with you leading the way. That night, Mina, walked alone outside the Valintech building. The sky was clear. Stars were everywhere. She had never felt smaller or stronger. She was no longer just the girl who took her friend's shift. She was the one who lit the sky. It had been 2 weeks since the enemy ships disappeared into the stars. The golden shield around Earth still shimmered softly, powered by the core of light and Mina's connection to it. Valintech stayed on high alert, scanning deep space for signs of danger. But for now, all was calm. Inside the control center, the team was working as usual. Jorn stood near a large screen, watching the data stream. Lyra was coordinating with ground stations. Dr. Halen was checking the core's energy flow. And Mina, she was not the same girl who once worked at the coffee shop. She now wore a small crystal pendant around her neck, part of the core, given to her for balance. Her posture was stronger. Her eyes were steady. But even with all the changes, her heart was still hers, kind and thoughtful. As she entered the control room, everyone turned. "Mina," Jorn said, smiling. "How do you feel today?" She nodded. "Better, stronger." Halen added, "Your connection to the core is stabilizing. It's learning from you as much as you're learning from it." Lyra leaned against a panel. "You've become Earth's quiet protector." Mina gave a small smile. "I didn't plan this." Jorn stepped closer. "None of us did. But the galaxy doesn't care about plans. It cares about choices." Later that day, Jorn asked Mina to meet him at the observation deck. The stars were just starting to show in the sky. He stood there with his hands behind his back. "I have something to tell you," he said, his voice calm. Mina joined him. "What is it?" He turned toward her. "The shield won't last forever. The core can only protect Earth for a limited time before it needs to rest. And the enemy knows this." Mina looked out at the stars. "So they'll come back?" "Yes," Jorn replied, "and next time they'll bring more." She was quiet for a while. Then she asked, "Can we stop them?" Jorn nodded slowly. "If we take the fight beyond Earth, if we carry peace into the galaxy instead of waiting for war to reach us." "You mean leave Earth?" "Yes," he said. "There are planets with allies. Places where old tech, lost knowledge, and ancient wisdom are hidden. You're not alone in this, Mina. Others like you exist. You need to meet them." Mina thought for a long time. Her eyes reflected the stars above. "Then I'll go," she said. "If it means protecting Earth, I'll go." Preparations began the next day. Valintech's most advanced ship, the Aurora Path, was readied for travel. It was faster than anything before it, powered by alien cores and designed to fly through space without being seen. Mina was the first confirmed member of the mission. Jorn would join her. Lyra agreed to come too. Dr. Halen stayed behind to continue research and support the Earth Shield. The launch was set for 3 days later. In that time, Mina returned home once. She walked through her quiet neighborhood and visited the small coffee shop where it all began. Sam, the manager, was there. "Mina?" He blinked when he saw her. "Is that really you?" She smiled. "Hey, Sam, you look different." "Yeah," she said, stepping inside. "A lot has happened." He poured her a cup of coffee, just the way she used to make it. "I still tell people about the day you spilled coffee on that quiet guy in the corner." Mina laughed softly. "That quiet guy changed everything." Sam leaned on the counter. "You okay?" "I am," she said. "I'm just about to go somewhere far." He raised his eyebrows. "Vacation?" She smiled. "Something like that." Back at Valintech, the launch countdown had begun. As the final hour approached, Jorn found Mina one last time on the roof, looking at the stars. He stood beside her, quiet for a few moments. "When you first spilled that coffee on me," he said, "I didn't expect any of this." She chuckled. "Neither did I. I had almost given up on finding someone who could help carry this burden," Jorn continued. "But you reminded me. That even the smallest choice can change the path of the universe. Mina looked up. Thank you for believing in me. He nodded once. Thank you for choosing to believe in yourself. The launch was smooth. The Aurora path lifted from the hidden runway and shot into the sky like a silent beam of light. Mina sat at the front with Jorn and Lara beside her. As Earth faded into the distance, she placed a hand over the crystal on her chest. I'll be back, she whispered. Months later. In a distant part of the galaxy, the Aurora path floated silently near a glowing planet with silver rings. Mina stood on the deck, watching strange creatures move on the surface below. She had visited 3 planets already. Each one had offered pieces of knowledge, warnings of old wars, and stories of ancient protectors. The more she learned, the more she understood. She was not chosen by accident. She was part of a much larger story, a story that had waited for her. To begin, back on Earth, Valintech remained strong. Dr. Halen continued his work. The shield still shimmered, watched by many but understood by few. People began asking questions. Stories began to spread. About a girl who spilled coffee on a man, about a stranger who was more than he appeared, about a light that protected the Earth, and a starship that vanished into the sky. And though most people would never know her name, the stars would.